Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another Toddy Without a Crystal Ball Tea Hour Extravaganza. I am the one, the only Uncivil Law. Thank you for joining me for this tea extravaganza. We have so much tea for you. Oh my God, why is there this much tea? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Last I checked, we were trying to decide jurisdiction with an motion to dismiss. That was in the long ago, in the far away, and God has forsaken us. Yeah, that's what's happening now. Yeah, this is great. I was thinking a little bit about what makes this case notable among other cases, and this case is notable, and it might be the most extreme version of it, because I don't think I've ever seen like this degree with the third party interference. That's what makes this case particularly notable. It's less notable for what Toddy and Katie are doing with respect to them in this, because you can get into some fights sometimes with civil law, and but two things are happening that are really inflating this. One, Katie is opening her mouth. That's definitely the driving force behind a lot of this. If Katie wasn't opening her mouth, a lot of this would not be happening. You guys know about the Toddy Swanson lawsuit, and nothing is happening. Why? Because no one is talking. So, yeah, there's that. So that's the first thing. But even more than that, what's also driving this is the fact that apparently we've got a bunch of stands or anti-stands or former stands for both Toddy and Katie, who are now working for their side, working in opposition. We got some double, triple agent stuff. I mean, we're going to have to start talking about double, secondary and tertiary levels of deception over here pretty soon. We're going to have to start talking this in wrestling terms to talk about who's talking who. Is this a work or is this a shoot? That's the level that we're at. We'll deal with that later. But right now we've got 325 pages, and yes, you heard me say that right. I can't even believe it. We've got 325 pages of glory. I've got some bourbon. I've got some tea. Got tea. Got bourbon. Excellent. And so we're going to be reading this, and we'll just start. Let's just start. This is, is Toddy even in this lawsuit anymore? Let me acknowledge the super chats that I've gotten so far. Is Toddy even in this lawsuit? I'm not sure Toddy remembers that she's in this lawsuit anymore. Black Label Caroling became a new member. Thank you. $2 from Kayla Genevieve. Like this video. Let's get the algorithm going. Right on. James Foucault became a new member. Secret Squirrel gave me £5 to say, is this even Toddy even in this lawsuit? Nope. And Ikra gave me something. PL. What is PL? Poland, probably. Poland, whatever end is. $47.99. Bourbon Fun Top-Up. Thank you so much. Let's do this. Great. Let's get started with all of this. Here we go. Document number 48. Defendant's reply regarding motion for a status conference. Now, I'd like to remind you that Saltz in his document said, yes, we should have a status conference. So what more is there to say than, great, let's do that then? Okay. The court may govern counsel's conduct without a gag order. True enough. Plaintiffs argue defendant's motion for a status conference does not meet the requirement for an issuance of a gag order. That could be very well true. However, defendant did not intend their motion alone to establish the basis for such an order. Rather, defendant's intention was to invoke this court's supervisory power to manage its own proceedings and control the conduct of the parties and attorneys before it. Yeah. Plaintiff's counsel, Mr. Saltz, has engaged in abusive conduct. Really? Can we lower the temperature between the attorneys, please? I guess my pleas for the attorneys to lower the temperature is not a thing that's happening. Plaintiff's counsel, Mr. Saltz, has engaged in abusive conduct, both in social media harassment campaign he has waged against defendant Paulson, and in his unfounded recent email threats of criminal prosecution. Why? This violates the rule forbidding attorneys to act for the purpose of harassing or intimidating opponents, opposing counsel, or witnesses. No. Counsel's threat of criminal prosecution also violates the rules of professional conduct of his own state. A lawyer shall not threaten to present criminal charges to obtain an advantage in a civil dispute. He's not threatening you or Paulson. Defendants hope by bringing this the court's attention will moderate counsel's behavior. Indeed, Mr. Saltz's Twitter activity has already dramatically since his court's hearing on a motion. Escalating, man, escalating. The first fact the court should be aware of in evaluating plaintiff's use of Twitter in this case is the sheer really? The sheer volume? We're saying that like it's a lot? If I have to interrupt myself every 3 sentences, we're going to be here forever. Is the sheer volume of Mr. Saltz's tweets regarding defendant Paulson. Since this lawsuit was filed, Mr. Saltz has posted 375 tweets regarding Ms. Paulson in this case. The majority of Mr. Saltz's Twitter activity since this case was filed has been directed at Ms. Paulson. This campaign has won him a following of some 6,200 Twitter users. Plaintiffs argue that they themselves have not publicly commented. Of course, they do not have to do that work when they're paid attorneys to publicly harass, taunt, and defame Ms. Paulson. Okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know who's at fault ultimately, but man, I'm telling you, Mr. Brown, you gotta calm down, man. You gotta calm down. You've been played. You've both been played. Both you and Saltz have been played. You've both been played. And I don't know if Saltz recognizes it yet. I'm not sure if Saltz has figured it out, but you figured it out that you've been played. So you should be a little bit kinder to your opposing counsel, ma'am. This kind of language is not necessary and is not helping. Why do we want to keep escalating? At some point, someone's going to challenge someone to a duel, man. Plaintiffs argue that Mr. Saltz's 375 tweets in a 3-month period all fall within the rules for safe harbor for attorneys' use of publicity to advance their clients' interests. Yeah. Those provisions permit an attorney to resort to media for the limited purpose of a request for assistance in collecting necessary evidence, responding with such information as necessary to mitigate recent adverse publicity not initiated by the lawyer or his or her client that would otherwise have substantial undue prejudicial effect on his or her client. It is not plausible that these 375 tweets in less than 3 months can be justified under these safe harbors. Yes, it is. It's completely plausible. It's totally plausible. What? Why are we escalating? Why are we escalating? Are we trying to just make this a blood feud? Is this part of your litigation strategy? One can only hope that's what's really going on. One can only hope that this is part of Mr. Brown's litigation strategy. For some reason, he wants to start a war between him and Saltz because he thinks it will get them off their game or something. I don't know. But it seems like a bad plan, and it's very unseemly. So, what the hell is all this, man? We're on page 2, man. Holy God. As explained below, plaintiff's social media bombardment is in fact intended to harass Ms. Paulson and damage her business. Why? Why? You're just begging an escalation. You're just begging him to respond. Why? Why are you escalating? Please stop escalating. This is not helpful. Why are you doing this? Someone needs to call someone and calm everyone down. I don't know if it needs to be me. Maybe I should call Mr. Brown. Maybe I should call Mr. Brown and be like, yeah, guy, you gotta calm this down. I don't know if that's a good plan. It's probably not. Please don't contact the attorneys. Okay, great. Yeah. Nate the lawyer gives me $2.99, said motion to dismiss has turned into a Twitter war. It's worse than a Twitter war, Nate. It's worse than that. It's turned into a fight in court pleadings. This is a Twitter war. This is a Twitter war, but instead of being on Twitter, it's written in formal legal vernacular and filed before an actual court. So I guess this is why it's good that Twitter has a 280 character tweet limit. Because this is what happens when you don't have the tweet limit, and also you get the professionals involved. All you guys on Twitter, you don't got shit for game. You got nothing for game. Nothing. All you guys got no game whatever. You want to see some real professional Twitter war. This is where it is. Everyone can take a look at this and figure out how to step up their Twitter game. Because none of you guys even close, man. These are the pros. Okay. Yeah, great. Defendant made their request for a status conference on shortened time in part because of a January the 16th, 2021 tweet from Mr. Saltz. Is it headbanging time? Man, if I headbang my head every time I want to, I'm going to be dead. I gotta hold it back, man. Gotta hold it back. Defendant made the request for a status conference on a shortened time in part because of a January 16th tweet from Mr. Saltz plainly suggesting that Ms. Paulson attempted to commit a crime of hacking into his Twitter and Gmail accounts. Mr. Saltz wrote, well, what do we have here? There appears to have been several hacking attempts on my Google and Twitter accounts and possibly others. This is not the first time, and whoever it was used a familiar address in their efforts. Yeah, I knew that 5 declarations ago, man. He then passed a screenshot in which Ms. Paulson, publicly known, email address appears, and highlighted her email address with red marker. There's no question that he intended the more 6,000 followers to take this as an accusation that Ms. Paulson made this criminal hacking attempt. Mr. Saltz filed the initial tweet with another on the same day, suggesting a tweet from Ms. Paulson earlier in January was an admission of hacking. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep with the super chats, but we'll try to do as best we can. He followed with another tweet the same day, blaming Ms. Paulson's bulldogs for attempted hack of one of his own witnesses. One of Mr. Saltz's followers responded to his own tweet by basically accusing Ms. Paulson of fabricating an attempted hack on her account to hide the guilt of her own crime. Mr. Saltz publicly and uncritically took this as evidence of Ms. Paulson's guilt, replying, I will need for that to be in our report to the authorities in the court. Mr. Saltz's followers took his tweets as he intended, as accusations leveled against Ms. Paulson. Let's read some super chats, which I suppose we're just going to have to do every once in a while and see how that works, I guess. Yeah. So many people joining, which is very, very, very appreciated. Thank you. Theresa M gave, have you buckled your seatbelt yet? No, I'm probably going to fall over and pass out or something from a stroke. Katie Zarn gave me Russian, maybe 99 Rube. No, Romanian, maybe. Snarky Coffee gave me $5 for the Bourbon Fund. Charmaine Haskett became a member. Martha Janet Vida Vega, nice name, became a member. Mithrin Emrys. When the actions of the lawyers have taken center stage, someone lost the plot and isn't the clients. The lawyers are kind of making the clients look good, so there's that, I guess. Katie doesn't look so bad now, right? So there's that. Maybe this is all part of some PR campaign to rehabilitate his client by making himself look bad. Because Katie doesn't look so bad now, right? I mean, hey, she isn't that bad. Maybe that's what's going on. Bunny gave me $2.99. Sending Secret Squirrel some Ziggy Stardust. 5R. Just R. Okay. Someone needs to remind Brown that lying won't do him any favors. He isn't exactly lying, but he's pushing it. And presenting 300 pages how Salt's has done nothing wrong. $2.99 from lawyer said motion to dismiss turned into a Twitter war. It turned into something. Monster Mash gave me $5. This is the equivalent of a lawyer pissing match. Yeah. $5 from Snarky Coffee. If I was a judge, I'd allow them to fight the parking lot. That's a pretty good idea. $2 from Kaylee Genevieve. Is KJ in the business of damaging other people? Couldn't speak to that. Blueberry 304. Headbanging time. We can't do that. If we do, we're going to die. Mithrin Emrys gave me $20. Thank you. This should have been settled with a proper jurisdictional challenge and a simple general denial plus affirmative defenses by Brown, the first response. Instead, he turned it into 9 irrelevant defenses. Now we have nonsense. £2 from Secret Squirrel, who says Jello. Paula Grayo, 5R. Wasn't Brown who said Washington didn't have grounds for suits? Yes. I don't know if he's intelligent deficit or acts in bad faith. I don't want to. It's none of those things. It's just, I don't think it's either of those things. I think it's just got completely out of control. Rachel Hennison says, I think a y'all is necessary. Yeah. Psychotic Dog became a member. Rachel XOXO from the UK. It's only 15 pages, but Salty's Twitter printout for the rest. Have fun. Blonde Asian for $14.99 for the helmet fund. That's cute. Very nice. Abigail Regal for $14.99 for the bourbon and or tea fund. Thank you for spending the Saturday afternoon doing this. Thank you for the super chats. It's very generous. £5 from Drew. Thank you for covering this. Appreciate it. You're welcome, Drew. And there was one more that I can't see at the very bottom, but I think it might be a new member. Jen in Stitches became a new member. Oh, she upgraded her membership. She upgraded her membership to Advocate. Well, thank you for upgrading your membership. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. That's very nice. All right, now back to the whatever this is thing. No texting me. Well, this is a nice little message from Gary Vaynerchuk, I think this is from, an automated message from his thing that says, from Gary Vaynerchuk, you got way more time than your insecurities tell you. Well, I'm glad we have so much time, Gary Vaynerchuk, because apparently we're going to be spending it with tea. All the tea, so much tea. All the tea ever. Great. Remarkably, plaintiffs have responded to defendant's motion by attempting to justify these public accusations of criminal wrongdoing by offering 3 declarations with what purports to be, but is not, evidence that Ms. Paulson did in fact commit the crime. Well, it's evidence. It might not be true, but it's evidence. Evidence can be false. One of these declarations is from a UK resident named Natalie Kennett, who testifies that she's autistic, and suffers from several mental health disorders, including anxiety and depression. The Kennett declaration contains purported screenshots of communications with Ms. Paulson, which have been fabricated. I believe that. I totally believe that. I believe that we are in a world where we do not know what is real. That is the world we're in. We do not know what is real anymore because there's a very good probability that these accounts are being faked by supporters of one side, opponents of the other side, or whatever. So I don't have a particularly hard time believing that Ms. Paulson didn't necessarily author any of these in particular, because that's the world we're in. We're in a world where nothing is true. Yay. And could you imagine a jury trying to figure out what is true and what is not? Holy God. I I'm not sure you guys want to be on that jury anymore. You really want to try to figure out what is true and what is not? Oof. Oof. The Kennett Plaintiff's counsel began receiving emails from the witness, Miss Kennett, and forwarding what plaintiff's counsel admitted were fake emails from the undersigned counsel and Miss Paulson to Miss Kennett, making the threat to her to coerce her to change her testimony. Despite the obvious serious questions surrounding the credibility, plaintiff's counsel refused to withdraw the declaration. Excuse me one second. Let me take something for my nasal allergy so I don't keep sniffing. It's going to be distracting on camera, so give me a second. Great. Defendants point out that on New Year's Day, Mr. Saltz posted a tweet criticizing Miss Paulson for working instead of spending time with her family and friends and life. But there are many more tweets that are indisputably outside the safe harbor Mr. Saltz invokes and are clearly meant to harass. Why are we escalating? Examples include Mr. Saltz inserted himself into an entirely unrelated dispute between Miss Paulson and a man she accused of sexual harassment and retaliation in 2019, knowing nothing about the matter except what he heard from the defendant. Mr. Saltz posted a tweet speculating that Miss Paulson had perjured herself in her application for a restraining order. Mr. Saltz falsely accused Miss Paulson of paying people to subscribe to her YouTube channel to make it appear that she has more subscribers than she does. He even offered evidence to support this. Paying for subscribers is a violation of YouTube's terms of service. It has nothing to do with his claims this lawsuit and was clearly intended to harass and defame. Notice that he doesn't actually say it's false at any point, though. So there's that. Mr. Saltz accused Ms. Paulson of lying about her prior relationship with an internet publisher of online content. Again, this has nothing to do with this lawsuit. Mr. Saltz sent 2 tweets early in the morning of New Year's Day in which he responded to tweets from 2 of his regular fans and committed haters of Ms. Paulson. The tweets had reference to Ms. Paulson as a POS and a biatch in reference to a video that she published. Mr. Saltz joined in on the attack, responding, "Is Ms. Paulson always like that on her Instagram account, and why would someone watch her videos?" The previous day, on New Year's Eve, Mr. Saltz responded to another tweet from one of his fans directed at Ms. Paulson, in which she referred to Ms. Paulson as "Hey Stupid," and ended the tweet with "F you." Rather than suggesting his fans avoid this kind of abuse, Mr. Saltz responded by asking for more submissions from other fans. He wants to see more examples of it. It's like kind of the same thing. He does say it was false. When did he say it was false? He didn't actually say it was false. Vincent Van Vega, he didn't say that. Paying for subscribers is a violation of YouTube's terms of service. It has nothing to do with the claims in this lawsuit and was clearly intended to harass and defame Ms. Paulson and her business. That's speaking to Saltz's purported intent. That was his intent to do that. It doesn't say whether or not it's true or not. What are you talking about? Read the words on the page, man. Falsely accused? Falsely accused Ms. Paulson of paying people to subscribe to her YouTube channel to make it appear that she has more subscribers than she does. Well, it's a compound statement. So what is false? Is it false that she's paying people to subscribe? Or is it false that she's making it appear that she has more subscribers? What exactly do we mean by false? What part of it is false? It's a compound statement. It's ambiguous what it's referring to. Mr. Saltz regularly accused Ms. Paulson of destroying evidence. He posted this tweet responding to nothing, obviously tagging her. While working at the district attorney's office after law school, a wise detective once told me, you can judge a person's level of guilt by the amount of evidence they attempt to delete when charges are filed. I believe this applies more so in the context of civil suits. That doesn't obviously target her. That's just a statement that's relevant. Mr. Saltz posted a tweet alleging that Ms. Paulson's supporter must also be Trump supporters. I mean, you're allowed to have an opinion. I mean, this is, lawyers are allowed to have opinions too. Not necessarily all nice. They're not allowed to harass people. But, I think this is a lot of steps from harassment. And also, I think it's escalating. And also, I think it's completely unnecessary. And yeah, Paul gave me 5R to say, how'd the hacker know that Nate was autistic if she only disclosed that to KJ via DM? As I pointed out in a prior stream, saying someone is autistic is just a insult that people throw around at each other. To say that someone's an autistic. People have said that I'm autistic. So there doesn't have to be any basis in reality for somebody to say it. So how'd she know? How do you know that she knew? Just because she said it doesn't mean that she knew it was true. She just might have meant it as a generic insult. Because people use it as a generic insult. Defendant brought this motion to address plaintiff's counsel of abuse from social media and improper threats to bring criminal charges against defendants. Plaintiff's response is an attempt to distract the court with entirely unfounded accusations defendants have engaged in a campaign to abuse plaintiff's witnesses for whom the plaintiff's counsel filed falsified evidence. And even Mr. Saltz now claims to be the victim of online abuse himself. But the facts are that there's no credible evidence the defendants are responsible for any of the alleged harassment of anyone. Okay, fair enough, I suppose. And there's indisputable evidence that plaintiff's counsel has repeatedly used social media to harass Paulson. I'm going to open up my Discord. So if my moderators need to tag me with particularly important questions, they can, because there's no way that I can keep up with the chat and read this and get through this in some reasonable time. So I'm not trying to ignore your questions. I'm just, if I stop to respond to every question, it's going to take forever. It's already going to take forever. So I don't know what to do. But there's particularly important questions. My moderators can notify me on Discord, and I'll take a look at them. I'm sorry, there's just too much for me to keep up with in real time. And that's the end of that one. Okay, great. So that was the declaration from Brown. That's super exciting. All right, so then we have a declaration from Brown, which is 309 pages. We'll skip that for the moment. We'll come back to it later. So then we'll go into defendant's praecipe regarding reply and support for motions conference. Pursuant to Local Rule 7M, defendants filed this praecipe to present the supplemental declaration of Catherine Paulson in support of their motion for a status conference. Defendants were unable to electronically file this on the night of January 29th because of a code embedded in the document. Defendants emailed this document directly to plaintiff's counsel on the night 29th to ensure they received it by the filing deadline and now been able to remove the code, sign the 30th. Fine. I mean, I doubt the judge is going to have a massive problem with that. But, okay, fine. Fair enough. I've seen courts care, but they're probably not going to care that much about that, all things considered. So now we're on to the supplemental declaration of Catherine Paulson in support of the status conference. Okay. I reviewed the declaration of Natalie Kenneth, filed by the plaintiffs. Okay. That declaration falsely accuses me of attempting to hack into Miss Kenneth's account and otherwise harassing her, alleges that I'm somehow involved in what appears to have been vicious and cruel attacks on her in my name. I've never attempted to hack into her accounts. I've done nothing to harass her. I've never asked or coordinated with anyone to hack into her house or harass her. The messages Miss Kennett claims she received are vile and cruel. I did not and would not send these or ask anyone to send them on my behalf. I myself have received numerous personal attacks since this lawsuit began. I address specific paragraphs and images below. I buy it. I buy it. You know, you don't. I mean, this case has got completely out of control. And do I believe that it's probable, and even perhaps more likely at this point, that a random stan or a random anti-stan or a random whatever is trying to stir the pot for whatever reasons, and it may not actually be these people? And yeah, I buy it. I buy it. I totally buy it, because that's the case we're in. This is a shit show where nothing is real. Paragraph 6. I did not say I had to delete videos because of the lawsuit or for my safety. Paragraph 7. The entire image is fabricated. I never wrote the words attributed to me, nor did I ever fear facing charges because of anything I wrote about Toddy Westbrook. Paragraphs 14 and 18. I never asked anyone to go after her, harass, intimidate, or punish Miss Kennett, nor would I have worked with anybody closely or otherwise to harass, hack, threaten, or punish, or intimidate her. Yeah. Paragraph 23. I've never attempted to gain access to Miss Kennett's email account. Recently, on a number of occasions, I've received notifications that my publicly available email address has been used in an apparent attempt to gain unauthorized access to email and social media accounts. I have not done this. I believe others are doing this to manufacture evidence that I've made these improper attempts. Anyone with an email address, which is on my website, can do this. I address this as my first declaration. Yeah, I buy it. I buy it. I did not write, don't tell anyone I deleted anything or I'll sue you, nor would I. This is a fabricated screenshot. Attached Exhibit A is a true and correct screenshot of the actual conversation between Miss Kennett and myself. Exhibit A shows a comparison of the genuine screenshot and the doctored one. Miss Kennett deleted my actual comment. Half these people are blocked, and replaced it with a different text bubble saying, don't tell anyone I delete anything or I'll sue you. Accusing Miss Kennett perhaps of some impropriety. Because Katie is saying it's an authentic message, but part of it's been replaced by some other person. Presumably that would be someone who has access to the message, which can only be Katie Joy and Kennett. And so Kennett manufactured evidence? Or someone working on Kennett's behalf? Miss Kennett does not accuse me of sending this faked email, and in fact I did not. However, the court will notice the same exact misspelling of "al" from the Instagram message in paragraph above. "Al" is repeated twice in this fake email. Further, I never sent Miss Kennett emails at all. The court should note that Miss Kennett now has forwarded to plaintiff's counsel fake emails from my attorney, Mr. Michael Brown, containing similar threats. Plaintiff's counsel apparently concedes Mr. Brown did not write these either. Further still, the phrase, "it don't wash with me," is something I've never heard or seen or used before reading this. Okay. Also, I never refer to my son as severely impaired. He is level 1 autism and is medically fragile, not severely impaired. Finally, while this email has me saying I have 4 million views and 120,000 subscribers, in fact, I have 50 million views and 135 subscribers. These are not facts I would misstate if I ran the email. I do like the fact that she takes time for a little self-promotion there at the end. That's a nice little touch. I do kind of like that. Nothing to do with these other messages, the screenshots. Nothing like this was ever posted on my Facebook account. I declare under penalty of perjury this is true. And so then we see some exhibits here. So we have, I guess this is the real message and the fake message. So we see on Twitter, from this on Twitter, where I do not see all the replies nor read them. Half these people have me blocked. And then instead, on Twitter, where I don't see the replies nor read them. Don't tell anyone I deleted anything or I'll sue you. Well, someone's lying. And that's the end of that one. Okay, great. So that just leaves us with the 309 pages of glory. Someone asked me, I saw that KJ's response was filed today. Since it was due yesterday, is it allowed? It should be fine. It should be fine. There was a problem with submitting it, and they corrected it soon after. Now, I have seen courts burn somebody before. I saw a court of appeals really burn somebody once for this, for late filing because of technical issues. So a court can really burn you. I saw a court of appeals do it once just to really smite an attorney. It's like, yeah, you filed 15 minutes late, and they said, oh, because of technical issues. And the court said, too bad, so sad, sucks to be you. But yeah, all that being said, you wouldn't expect that. So it should be fine. They made a good faith attempt to file. They corrected the error. They filed as soon thereafter, so it should be fine. Let me try to respond to some of these super chats, if I can remember where the hell I was before. Okay, I Love Bubbles gave me $3.99. Davey Rothgab, new member. Angela Whitting gave me a new member, or member upgrade, thank you. Stina Marie, new member. Sam L, new member. Michaela H, hello, new member. And Procrastinating Baking, new member. For $5 from Paula Grayo. How the hackers know Nat was autistic. Could just been random insult. MJ, $4.99, thanks for Uncivil for taking us through this. I'm here for you. Irka says, is it possible that Brown is on a success fee contingency? Why is he doubling down? Not sure if that's in lower compensation, isn't consulting. Yeah, it could be on contingency, but what's the contingency? Because if unless there's counterclaims to be coming, or there's some sort of attorney's fee shifting provision, which I'm not aware of, there's no money coming Katie's way, right? So there could be from Toddie's side, because Toddie's side could get money and damages. So Toddie's side would be more likely to be on contingency. Could the defense side be on contingency? Yes, but contingency based on receiving what money? Because there's no money to be had. So, yeah. $5 from Doug Thompson. I need a recipe for praecipe. Fine. $5 from Paula. I don't buy it. Everyone's been telling KJ to zip it. She calls any critic as bullying. She's a compulsive liar and is well documented. Well, I couldn't speak to any of that, but again, with all the craziness in this case, the idea that someone is purporting to do things and it's not actually the people involved is a very real possibility. So I'm not sure that I would agree with that, but you're entitled to your own opinion, of course. It is a question of opinion. Which do you think is more likely, right? So, fair enough. All right, let's read this 309 pages of bullshit from Michael Brown, with all due respect to Michael Brown, because why? 4 more documents have been uploaded? You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. You got to be screwing with me. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, I hate you all. Oh. Hold on. Let me check. Well, there's a seal and a sealed document. What else is going on there? Let me check the docket. Hold on. Let me pull the docket. There's a motion to seal with a proposed order and a sealed declaration. There's a second supplemental declaration by Katie Joy Paulson under seal. Wow. What is this motion? What is this seal thing? Defendants move to file for under seal for the second supplemental declaration of Michael Brown in support of motions to dismiss. Why? On January 13th, plaintiff filed a declaration of Lori Ann Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart is a non-party witness. In the days following that filing, I've come into possession of evidence that strongly suggests Ms. Barnhart was not aware of what she was signing when she swore the truth to the contents of the declaration and may have lacked capacity to swear under oath to the contents of the declaration. That might be true. Although it's a pretty low bar, but still. I mean, from her own from Barnhart? No, that's probably unlikely, but okay. This information is consistent with, but she wasn't aware of it's more likely. That she didn't have capacity is unlikely, but that she was unaware is possible. The information is consistent with the fact that Ms. Barnhart's signed declaration is irreconcilable statements she made to undersigned. I mean, we saw this. We already had this argument. Although new information does not contain health records in undersigned content and blah, 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 blah. So I want to submit some stuff relating to health and okay, fine, great. I don't care. Let's move on. I hate everyone. All right, great. $5 from Barbara Smith. I'm very amused but confused. You and me both. Deslavia Varbanova gave me Belgian, I think. Drew £5. The mothership has landed. Lola's goes from bad to worse. You have no idea. $5 for my Australian dollars, best dollars. Hope the bottle shop delivers for the booze fund. Yeah. Deslavia gave me $5 Belgian. Oh, I feel bad for your face right now. Pure desperation. Here's $5 from Grace Case. Here's a for a mason jar so you can spill the LD. And there was one more, but I can't see it for some reason at the bottom of my screen. Come on, YouTube. 220 Danish krona, I think. Oh my God, the face when you saw there's more. It's like, oh my God, why is there more? Yeah, I know I'm in there. I'll get there. Okay. All right. So yeah, today's bourbon is a classic. It's mostly known by frat bros because of its high alcohol content, but it's actually a very, very good bourbon. It's a very classic bourbon, and it's a very, very good value for money. It's not my favorite bourbon by any means, but it is a very good choice, and it is none other than Wild Turkey 101. 101 proof from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, United States of America. $20 Danish krona from Pia Busk. Oh my God, that face. Yeah. Black Label Carolyn gave me $4.99. I just want the jurisdiction to get ruled on. That's never happening. Paula gave me $5 something. So 20 users could have the same fake screenshots. I know instead of attacking assaults, why not subpoena her accounts and she can shut up? Deslavia Varbanova. Hey, just Desi is okay, and the currency is Bulgarian. All right, well, thank you. And Erica gave me PLN for the Nihilism Fund. Nihilism feels about right. Yeah, at this point, yeah. Great. All right, so let's read on. Mr. Salt's criminal allegations via email. Plaintiff counsel now denies the series of 3 emails Mr. Salt sent to me in the morning of January 18, 2021 contain allegations that defendant Paulson attacked the hemp, hack into the Twitter and Gmail accounts, or caused a witness to be harassed, or threats of criminal prosecution for the same, or suggestions the underside was involved. But a brief review of these emails reveals this denial to be an attempt to backtrack from what were reckless and inappropriate allegations. Really? I mean, okay. In his first email, Mr. Saltz wrote, We also have direct messages from your client threatening our witnesses with lawsuits if he shares information with us, and there appears to be direct communication on Twitter with one of the harassers that made direct threats and our threats. We are in process of providing this information to federal authorities. We'll be pressing charges once we determine all who are involved. This is fine. This is fine. He had it looked authentic. Maybe it wasn't authentic. Maybe it's not real. And he could have just said simply, "This is not real. It's not from us. Good luck in your criminal case." But it's like, okay. In fact, there are no direct messages from my client threatening Paulson with lawsuits, nor are there direct communications on Twitter with one of the harassments. The second quoted paragraph can be taken nothing other than threat of criminal prosecution of Ms. Paulson. No. In the second email, Mr. Saltz wrote, "We also demand that you document and take control over the 24 Twitter accounts and 3 email accounts that apparently belong to your client to safeguard them from deletion due to her SOC accounts now being exposed. Please confirm that you've done so the evidence can be preserved pursuant to the court's order." In fact, contrary to Mr. Salt's reckless allegation, Ms. Paulson has nothing to do with the 24 Twitter accounts that were allegedly used to harass Ms. Kennett, nor did Ms. Paulson receive any information from them. The allegation that Ms. Paulson has SOC accounts that have now been exposed is plainly an allegation that Ms. Paulson was in fact behind these. I mean, you got to give Saltz a bit of a break here. I mean, what does he know and what doesn't he know? And what does it appear to be? You got to give him a break, man. Jeez. In the third email, Mr. Saltz wrote, "The other hackers disclosing information your client's plans to delete evidence and bring false charges against me. There is evidence of open communication planning between your clients and the hacker accounts. It's all involved in foreshadowing they're going to hit us with a big surprise. We demand to know what your involvement was or knowledge of these alleged plans. I want to take a brief note to thank the 1,845 of you who are currently watching. I think that might be a record for me. So if you're enjoying this stream or enjoy watching me suffer, please remember to like the video. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribing helps the channel grow and means that I will be incentivized to provide more tea. Forever. And you can also hit the join button to become a member, as so many of you are doing. For 99 cents a month, you too can become an Uncivilian. So, yeah. Paula Grayo says, "I've been giving you 5 reals, Brazilian." Okay. Well, thank you for the 5 reals. Brazilian. Awesome. I'm not sure why R gets Brazil, but cool. Oh, because of real. All right. Fair enough. Barney Terespel from Croatia. Yugoslavia was Bulgarian Lev. Belgium is on the euro. And Poland is Poland Zoltoi. Also before you mispronounce Kuna. Eastern European coming in strong. Okay, well, if Kuna is not pronounced Kuna, I apologize to the people of Kuna. For $49.99 from Catherine Watson. That's a very generous super chat. Thank you. Here's to the 101 proof you're going to need it. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. Yeah, maybe Brown's doing this for me. Sure. $4.99 from Terry Binga. I saw a video that KJ stated how easy it is to make fake screenshots from an app. She can make them in minutes. That's true. She could be behind it too. $5 from, but the judge isn't going to care. The judge isn't going to care, and they shouldn't care. Because motion to dismiss. Anyone remember that? If you're asking, how does this relate to the motion to dismiss? You are asking clearly the wrong question. I'm not sure what the right question is, but that wasn't it. $5 from Christina is a math nerd. For your information, this judge literally wrote the book on evidence, managing discovery of electronic information. Excellent. Very cool. Mithrian Emrys says, "Side, Judge Mom is going to be happy when the kids meet her. Meet ground. That could happen." $2 from Radioactive Redhead. That's a cool name. I think I've seen it before too, and it's a nice little thumbnail too. Isn't Chloe the hacker in Smallville? Yeah, she was also the hacker assistant on 24, wasn't it, Chloe? Yeah. Brazilian real. I love you saying my name. J is ZH in Portuguese. Paula Greyha. Paula Greyha. I hope I got that right. And Miss Mandy 333 became a new member. Excellent. Fantastic. Let's get back to reading and watch my soul disappear even more. Plans Council deny that they have done anything to promote YouTube channel of Emily D. Baker. However, at the very outset of this case, Mr. Saltz posted a public tweet saying, Emily Baker is wicked smart. What? Attached is a true and correct copy. What are you talking about? He posted 2 subsequent tweets showing his team working on this case on this weekend, with Emily Baker's YouTube channel prominently playing in the background on a large screen television monitor. So if one of the attorneys in the case says a nice thing about one of the people, let me make sure I got this completely right, Mr. Brown. Let me make sure I've got this right. If one of the attorneys in the case says a nice thing about one of the people reviewing it, that means that attorney is like promoting them? Okay. Noted. Conference of Counsel. In their motion, defendants accurately described email communications of the counsel on the 18th. After reading Mr. Saltz's reckless and inflammatory accusations. Well, you're one to talk, man. Jeez, come on. Come on, man. The undersigned proposed the serious matter be brought to the court's attention. Of course, Plans Counsel did not want to be brought to the court's attention, and so they ignored the request. In any event, it's not clear why plans focus on contention. The conference requirement has not been met when they explicitly concede the issues meet. Does it mean he promoted you when he posted your picture? I don't know. I don't know if it means he... Yeah, that's a good question. Does it mean that he promoted me when he posted my picture? I don't know the answers to these questions. I don't know these questions. Nothing makes sense. There is no reality. We're in a post-reality environment, man. Affidavit. We bring an affidavit of Todd Price. Who the hell is Todd Price? I'm the Chief Technology Officer at PageVault. Okay. PageVault on-demand service helps legal professionals capture web-based content in a manner that preserves and accurately portrays the web-based content as of the date of the capture. To perform the capture, PageVault configures its capture servers to collect the content. The thing connects to the thing and saves captures of the thing to the thing. Captures include associated metadata and digitally signed and hashed. The thing secures these captures on the servers. PageVault sends these captures to the original requester. Attached are some screenshots. Oh, okay. Okay. Mr. Saltz, are we just going to disclose his entire page now and all the things he's ever tweeted? By the way, Kurt, her name is pronounced Paula Greyo. Paula Greyo. I'll get it right one of these days, man. Not trying to insult the fine people of Brazil or their Portuguese language. Paula Greyo. That's a cool name. Paula Greyo. I like that last name with that Greyo. That's kind of cool. I dig it. Yeah, that's cool. What does this have to do with jurisdiction? That's not the right question. No. Priceless. There's a wild without a crystal ball appears. I don't know. That's kind of the point. It was a phishing email. We're looking at our options. This is just his entire Twitter account. Why do we need his entire Twitter account? Has Todd even mentioned the last 20 filings? I don't think so. I feel like this has turned to Solid v. Brown. Yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. Well. What do we have here? There's several hacking attempts. Helping been able to successfully parse the tweets and DMs of Jesse the twerp from those real hackers. I have thoughts, and one of Jesse's come clean about his actions. We had nothing to do with him. Not sure what he's trying to do. This is insane. Nate the lawyer. This is, yeah. Does anyone remember the law? Does anyone remember law? That's basically the point we're at this point. Does anyone remember law? I don't know what we're doing at this point, but it's not law. It's an illegal filing. This is not what I signed up for when I became a lawyer. I definitely didn't have any classes in law school that even began to relate to anything like this. This is not law. This is some bullshit. This is some fuckery, to quote our good friend Emily D. Baker. I'm not sure what color of fuckery it is. It's not really what the fuckery, so it's not level red fuckery, but it's something. I think we need like an entirely different color scheme. It's irrelevant fuckery. What the hell is this level fuckery? I don't know what color that is. Magenta. It's magenta color because I say so. Excellent. $5 Brazilian by Brown's logic. Salts is the prime promoter of KJ. Hats for help on my name. I love you, love my name. It is pretty cool. I do like that last name. I like the way it rolls off the tongue. It's very satisfying. And the Imam Sami. Emails around 264. We'll get there eventually. I might be drunk off my ass, but we'll get there. Desalava Desalava Varbanova says hundreds of pages of nonsense. I know. This is like, it's yeah. Eastern Europeans and Brazilians with strange names and currencies. We appreciate you. Thank you. $5 from Keela Genevieve. This feels more and more like Twitter Wars. Motion to make this make sense. Motion denied. I think you have too much tea in your bourbon. Probably too much blood in your alcohol system, too. Yeah, that's about right. $4.99 from Nate the lawyer, who is a great guy and helps keep me sane. Sort of. I don't know if anyone can help me at this point. Brown versus Salts, defamation be damned. Motion dismissed from house. Snitches threats on Twitter. Yeah. $19.99 from Dressing Room Diaries. And what will the judge say about this in the hearing? I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to this hearing, because this hearing could go in a lot of different directions, man. This hearing is ostensibly to determine whether or not there should be a status conference. So the boring version of what will happen on Tuesday is they'll have an argument about whether or not there should be a status conference, and the judge will say, okay, let's have a status conference and we'll schedule it for this time. That's the boring version of what could happen Tuesday. I don't think that's the most likely thing to happen Tuesday. A much more likely version of it is motion to have a status conference. Granted, we're doing it right now, which we can because you're all here. So motion granted, you're now in a status conference. Congratulations, let's have a status conference. And that could go a lot of different places. With what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Why are you drowning my motion dismiss? Do any of you guys remember the issue you're supposed to be arguing over? Why are you trying to make me sad? It could end in a decision on a jurisdiction. That'd be fun. So this thing on Tuesday, do we know what will happen? Nope, but it'll be interesting. And you and I will listen. Well, I'll listen to it live and I'll describe it to you, or I'll relay it to you as best as I can, because I can't retransmit it. But I can describe what I'm listening to. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. We probably won't get a transcript for a couple days, but yeah, fun. Keep scrolling and I'll see your dogs. Excellent. I look forward to that. You're gonna need a bigger bottle by the looks of it. Well, I've got half of this thing left, man. So Live tweet? No. I'm gonna be on YouTube. I think my current working plan. My working plan, as stupid as this is, my working plan is to just relay what I'm hearing in real time, because I can't transmit the audio, which would be the easiest thing to do, right? I could just transmit the audio, except I can't. But what I could do is I could just basically re-speak it in my own voice and go from there. So that's probably what we'll do. It'll probably be me staring at a screen and just reciting what I'm hearing in real time, and then discussing it when it's done, because I don't know what else to do. I know it's dumb, but that's where we are. So, yeah. And I look forward to the people in the chat at the time saying, why can't we hear the audio? Just let's listen to the audio. And the super chats, what are you talking about? Who's speaking and what? And yeah, I look forward to all that stuff, which I won't be able to acknowledge, of course, because I can't acknowledge it, because I'll have to be relaying it in real time. So that should be a fun conversation. $10 from Mithrin Emrys. Judge DeBrown, you still have motion dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, but you also want me to make these other rulings. I'll be happy to make those rulings, but if you're doing it, you give me jurisdiction. I know, man. It's like, Can I share the link? There's no link. It's a telephone call. I guess I could share the telephone number and calling code. But there's limits. It's limited. It's only I think it's only open for about 250 people. So the problem with giving out the conference code is, it might deprive other people who actually really have a business need to be there. And so that's my concern there, but I'll think about it. But there's no link for me to share, unfortunately. Use sock puppets. I don't know about that. I need 3 different ones, because I need one for Brown, one for Salts, and one for the judge. He's not referring to me. Someone just tried hacking my Twitter. An attempt was made on my Instagram. Gave me a little more credit. Do you have screenshots? You may well get support anyone you wish. That's not the issue. 2 accounts were created at the same time as yours and tampered with witnesses and made threats in writing. Just a reminder, once again, to please subscribe if you've not done so already. I would really appreciate it. And remember to like. A question from Nicoline Fosberg. Question: I know nothing about law, but could these only be praecipe in a way to get the case dropped in some way? I don't know what the hell this is. This is some bullshit is what this is. That's what's going on right now. From, do you use the code Google sent you? No. Change the password manually. And that account's not hooked up to anything but a Google Drive. I don't use, and that's nothing important in it. It's our understanding as well. For my trip through 6th Street. Yeah, I know, man. Michael Saltz, that's our understanding as well. Thank you. Michael Saltz, those expired a long time ago and the passwords were changed. 2-factor authentication is required. God is great. Thank you for reaching out. Is it true your account was hacked at the same time as her harassing tracking accounts surrounding this issue? From Tina Witham. I love listening to you. Love laughing my ass off. All your content last week has been awesome. I appreciate it. Please just don't share. Too many people who don't really need to be on it will be on it. Just relay us the info. Yeah, that's the problem. I'm concerned. I'm so concerned about the capacity of the line. So, y'all, that's best I can do. Can we send the judge a bottle of wine? I don't know if I necessarily recommend it, but yeah, I guess. I wouldn't recommend sending the judge a bottle of wine because if you seen it as a bribe or something, and they probably can't accept it anyway because of gift giving limits, and also they probably would contact the U.S. Marshals, so wouldn't recommend it. And we need black lights for this level. That's about right, because we've lost all hope and meaning in the world. When were these posted? The only way is if she had an access code. Take a closer look. KJ's account is not hacked. Her account's being added to the witness account, and then the password is being changed. There are confirmation emails that emails was used as access, which only works if you have access to KJ's. And Mr. Saltz may not have a correct understanding of this either, because a lot of us didn't. So again, this is like, let's be charitable. Let's give everyone a break. Let's give Saltz a break. Let's give Brown a break. All we're saying is give peace a chance, man. Will people like Emily and Creepshow get a link? There is no link. There's a phone number. I'm pretty sure Emily has the phone number too. I think Emily was intending on tweeting it out. I might have to try to discourage her from doing that, though, because I think that's a bad plan. But there's a phone number. There's no link to be had. There's a phone number and an access code. And nothing is stopping me from giving that information out, but, again, concerns about the technical limitations that are involved here. And and if I could, I'd just live stream the audio, but I'm not allowed to because, reasons. Don't ask questions. I didn't come up with it. Ask the judge, except don't. Do I think Brown knows KJ is Cray K? I don't know. I mean, he's had enough interaction with his client to have an opinion of his own. Can I record the audio for later? No, I can't rebroadcast it. No, I can't rebroadcast. No. In response to Without a Crystal Ball tweeting about email communications going both ways, Michael Saltz says, given the current circumstances, was this prior tweet supposed to be an admission of hacking? I mean, I don't know. Why are they doing this? I have no goddamn idea. Is this a credit Saltz? I don't know. Is this a legal strategy of some sort? Not a good one, but I don't know. What's the point of this? Dick measuring contest. It's a dick measuring contest. We gotta see whose dick is bigger. The answer is my dick is bigger, but, they don't know that, so that's fine. Michael Saltz said, what posts? I'll need that for a repost to the authorities in the court. Michael Saltz says, thank you. I don't understand the content of the comments. Doesn't she have like 135,000 subscribers and tens of millions of viewers? Please let me or Lanny know if you have evidence that KJ has deleted relevant evidence. Video chats, comments, and tweets. This includes deleting statements from videos saying that they're in Washington and Instagram, YouTube videos containing chat messages about the case. Yeah. Mr. Saltz says, feel free to DM me if you want to tell us your story. Hi, Katie. My friends, for those times when you really want to have a dick measuring contest, you really need to prepare and make sure that you are as fit as you can be to make sure that your dick is properly measured at the size it truly deserves. And every man knows that a good supplementation can really help to really bring out that vigor that was always within you. So for that dick measuring contest, might I recommend Halo Beauty. Halo Beauty. For when you want to make your dick gleam as bright as it can. Michael Saltz says, thank you. Michael says, please DM me for information. Michael Saltz says, is she saying that it's harmful because they got caught deleting or something's not true? Michael Salt says, please collect every tweet from Chloe account in case we miss one. Each one has evidence we'll intend to use shortly. I don't understand what if KJ was involved, why Brown didn't just say this was not my client. I don't know, man. Who knows what's going on at this point? For Michael Setz, or Chloe, you need to be doxxed. You're so dead. You're laughable. Check the right side of the screen, man. I'm looking at the tweets. I am seeing the tweets, man. I am seeing all the tweets. I am seeing everything, man. Or check the right tweet about what's happening on the Twitter thing. I mean, come on. Only the best vitamins for you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let me help you find them. You may need them later. From Michael Saltz, practice before practice. It's kind of off the rust before we start playing at the end of the month. Why are we bringing in things about his basketball game for some reason? I don't know, but we are. Yeah. We got tweets of Michael Saltz at batting practice because reasons. I don't know. Yeah. There's an option to record. I know I can record. It's just that I can't. I can't because of court proceedings. I understand this, but yeah. I tell you, ever since I've started taking those Halo vitamins, man, I noticed increased vigor, increased vitality. Holla. If you're single and live in the greater Austin area. From Michael Saltz, non-defense counsel for my clients are co-defense with Google and YouTube. I'm one of the attorneys defending the case with YouTube and Google lawyers. We already knocked out the lawsuit once. We'll soon see if plans try to amend it. He built in his backyard? That's funny. Yeah. Please mail us your story. Responded. Please tell me I didn't miss anything today. I enjoy getting to do other things than work today, including building this batting cage in the backyard. Well, that's really cool. He likes it so much he built his own batting cage. That's nice. Will Halo save your liver from this? I don't know, man. Yeah. This is where you go to sit when you have enough of watching Tinder transoms. I'm the only one who reads your comments with your Scottish accent in my head. You should see the ones in full uniform that dress me up head to toe. Why are we talking about this stuff? It doesn't matter. Is anyone getting the feelings that Brown's animosity towards Saltz runs a lot deeper in just this case? I mean, something's going on here. It's a little bit much. Oh, he's a coach and his daughters are players. Oh, that's cool. I'm single, but I live in Brazil. Well, travel. Travel. You can travel to Austin. I will show you a good time. COVID, no COVID, doesn't matter, man. We can go out for some wonderful Texas barbecue. We'll go over to Black's Barbecue. In Lockhart, that'd be nice. Yeah, good stuff. I know the Brazilians know how to do some barbecue too, but some Texas style, man. I think we can teach you something. You love me? Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Yeah, Austin's where I live. State capital's Austin. We're done from a case filing to a dating show, man. Hey, I'll take. I've got 1,800 people watching this video, man. I'm just saying. I will take advantage. It's my channel, so why not? You know, I have a very steady, good employment. You know, I like romantic dinners, which I actually do because I'm a bit of a sucker for dining out. So I really do like romantic dinners. So all the good stuff. I can't see tweets because they're privated. Sounds good. I don't talk about the case, so the public will always give an update before me because I don't give to them. As for the documents, they're downloaded through the court through Pacer. Yes, I understand that paralegal with Pacer account is on here posting documents for everyone to read, and I always download them myself from Pacer anyway. Michael Saltz, when was this? Is KJ inciting violence against my clients to retaliate them for testimony? Let me know as soon as possible. Can we see if we can be filing an emergency motion to assure our safety? H3 Productions is looking for somebody. There you go. Michael Saltz, does she not understand the difference between domicile and owning multiple references? The law in most states is that a location is considered residence if you have a person stay there more than 30 days. However, it doesn't make your domicile for all purposes. Fair enough. Love for Uncivil law. Thank you, Alina. I appreciate that. That be because of content dilution because there's so much content being produced every day, or doesn't count views cumulatively? Do I like long walks on the beach? I like walks on the beach, but not particularly long walks because it's hard to walk on sand. But I do like for long walks in the park. And there's actually a really nice walk here in Austin. We got this thing called the Green Belt. It's very, very nice for biking or walking. And, so you got that going for you. And then we got some kayaking on the rivers here and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. But yeah, we can go for some walks. What do you mean she wiped out the weekly subscription? I'm more of a mountains guy than a beach guy, personally. But, I can roll. Also because I don't tan. I burn like crazy. So the beach and I aren't exactly the best friends. So there's that. Mr. Saltz is an interesting point. Here's a question. If indicted and convicted on state charges, will real Donald Trump still have Secret Service protection as an ex-president in state prison? Presumably, yes. Or the president would have to, presumably he would serve his time in a federal prison regardless, and the federal government could work something out along those lines. But, You don't have mountains in Texas. We do on the western side of Texas. Depends what you define as mountains, but we got some high hills at least. From Michael Saltz, let me know when this gets deleted. Can you send me a link? Is it live or total views? Yeah. You need to come to Scotland? I won't burn. That's a good idea. Leonard French found his wife in Luxembourg, as she was in Scotland at the time, actually, but now they live in Luxembourg. So, hey, it worked for Leonard French. He found his wife in Scotland. So, maybe it could happen to me too. So, who knows? Michael Sauce is at my face. I don't care about people's politics. Your political views belong to you, and you're not a gift to me. Just care that people are good or good intentioned. I used to think that way about Lindsey Graham when he wrote this tweet, which is prophylactically aged like a fine wine. Yeah. Reinvigor my Scottish heritage. My heritage is Scottish, not Irish. So my mother's side is from Scottish. So marrying a nice Scottish girl would reinvigorate my Scottish heritage. So hey, got that going for me too, right? What about Julie Virgo? She's cute, Scottish, and single. Could be, man. There I am with this cowboy hat. Awesome. I look good, man. I look good. Have I been to Chili Parlor Bar? Not yet, because of COVID, but I've passed by it. What part of Scotland is my mother from? I'd have to look it up again. I could actually look it up right now on Ancestry, because I did my whole geological chart there on Ancestry. So let's see if I can find out again where my mother's side is from. Should be in my profile. Yeah, I got down pretty nice on my father's side and my mother's side. Let's see. So on my mother's side, try to find like the deepest roots of my Macquarie. No Pacific Place. Let's see. So this is my fifth great grandfather, who was born on the Isle of Mull in Argyllshire, Scotland, and died in the Isle of Uvula, Ashgall, Scotland, 1767 to 1848. So, Argyllshire, I think, is the right one, because my mother's Lancashire. Lancashire. There you go. Good stuff. Killing you? Pull on my hat? Okay. How y'all doing, ladies? Michael Saltz, take a look. Thank you. Not a wholly factual recounting what's happening. Yeah, the judge is not going to read any of this, man. The hat is amazing, man. Yeah, I'm really happy with the hat. Next step is an OnlyFans? Maybe. Can we get back to documents? Yeah, we're doing it intermittently. The chat seems to be having a good time. Please do not feel free to include this twin next shipment. If you're accused of being harassed, threatened, let me know. I can't see your tweet. Nice to meet you. Let me know if you'd like to talk. It's just hide comments. Does it or doesn't hide comments for us? You know, when you're trying to look your best for your adoring fans, You really want to really put on the whole attire so people can really get that Southern gentleman flair that they've been craving. And the hats really helps, but you know what also helps? Is all the wonderful beauty products from Toddy Beauty. Toddy Beauty, there to reveal the gentleman within that the hat only compliments. Toddy Beauty, there for you and your streaming needs. Super duper. Michael Saltz, is it still there or has it been deleted? Thank you. Was this deleted too? All I can say is this: we've hired someone so we wouldn't have to litigate against her. Unbutton a button. From looking for it now. Thank you, Michael Salt says. Thank you. What exactly did she say? These tweets are from wherever. Those tweets going to show Katie giving Lorian instructions. Tequila mixed with bourbon. That's an interesting choice, man. Mr. Saltz, I don't understand. What are you talking about? They're no different. Don't delete. We verified the same user number and account. What do you think with regard to AdSense? Do you think YouTube sells geographically target ads to put on the video? Yes. In other words, it's not the ad might be derived from the ad someone that Google told they want to be published in the state of Washington. Well, not necessarily, because they might not be that specific. They'd say where they want to be published, but maybe not Washington specifically. No more whiskey for you, says Kelly Jones. Okay. Well, I'll put the cap in the bottle then, because Kelly says I can't have any more. From Michael Saltz. Did KJ really say to you? What video is that? Did she say it was meant to be an admission? Uncivil tender. That's cute. Yeah, folks, smash the like button. You should all smash the like button. Let me read some super chats. I'm not sure where we left off last time. Cindy Luhu gave me $4.99. Theresa, Minnesota said $4.99 motion for Tuesday super chats during the hearing due to legal charity of your choice to assist people in need of legal representation. Maybe. Strawberry $4.99. Emily needs black lights for this level. Phil Biller became a new member. Mally Beast gave me some 50 Norwegian krona, I think. Why are they doing this? Is it cred salts? Is it legal strategy? I don't know. Living Sweetly became a new member. Thank you, Living Sweetly. £5 from Charmaine Heskett. I don't understand if KJ was not involved. Why did Brown didn't just say that? This is not my client, but I'd also like to know who's responsible too. Good question. Living Sweetly from 10 Canadian dollars. Oh my God, that was awesome. Thank you. Laughing my ass off. Chelsea Ann said only $19.99. Only the best vitamins for your eggplant. Thank you very much, Chelsea, and that's very kind of you. Paula Grayo or Grajo. Holy cow, I wonder if Toddy watches all this. Probably not. Just Jen, $5. My imaginary lady are far bigger. The boy needs to step back. My imaginary lady's balls are far bigger. The boy needs to step back. Okay, fair enough. Crack the fuck up. Crack the fup. $5 payment for the Halo Beauty commercial. Thank you. $4.99 from Diane Harlow. Thanks for the Halo plug. You made my day. Spiriola, $5. Motion for Kurt, Nate, and Emily to go after party. I'll ask her about it. Chelsea N, Living Sweetly, 10 Canadian dollars. Is anyone else getting the feeling that Brown's animosity towards Saltz runs a lot deeper in this case? I don't know. Something's wrong. And Paula said she's single, but in Brazil. I say, planes fly, man. Planes fly. Bohem Ophelia became a new member. Carmela R became donate $4.99. Are we going to get a sport play-by-play for court proceedings? That's hilarious. I highly doubt it was covered in law school. Yeah, basically, I'm going to do the color commentary for the legal proceeding. That should be good. $2 from Amy Spicer says, I'm so confused. That's okay. No one understands what's going on at this point. Tina Witham said became a new member. £10.99 from All Things Lost on Oracle. Thank you for covering this. I appreciate your content efforts. Salud from Holland. Well, salute to you as well, too, sir. Vincent Van Vega, here in the state of Gratis. Read it as part of Lord of the Rings. Here in the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil, we make barbecue sauce with guava. Promising. I really like both the original and the guava version of barbecue sauce. That does sound nice. Spirioli became a of council member. Upgrade their membership. Thank you. Living Sweetly, $5 Canadian. Folks, smash the like button. $10 Canadian from A Dandy. To be honest, I've long thought that Brown's pissiness stems from being butthurt about how brutally his first motion dismissed was panned on YouTube. He's taking out salts in his filings. Well, I mean, maybe just don't file crap. That'd be fine. Granny C, became a new member. Butterfly Kisses, that's a nice name. Became a new member. JJ for $4.99. Motion for Kelly to mind her own damn business. MJ for $9.99. The hat Scottish D measuring laughs and cheers today. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Cheers. I have to drink the last of my thing because I'm not allowed anymore to pour from the bottle. Gidget gave me $10. If this is thrown out for jurisdiction, what happens to all these 40 plus filings? Do they stay attached and file a suit, or is it just for nothing? It's just for nothing. We start over, man. Now, that doesn't necessarily preclude them from being reused in a different proceeding, but they don't get automatically transferred. So, you could use the stuff that's there and file them again, but, you just start over from square one, man. Brand new court, brand new docket, man. We'll start over from document 1 and see if it gets any less insane. $4.99 from Ever Miranda. Uncivil, so over it. Hi from New York City. Well, hello from you, Eva. And Charmaine Haskett became an upgraded member to Advocate. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Halo owes me coin. Yeah, maybe. I do it for you guys. You guys love the lulz. You guys love it, so I do it for you. Secret Squirrel gave me some chat and I missed it. Let's see. I have to scroll back up and find it. Oh, yes. 2 pounds from Secret Squirrel. Brown's filings really dull things. That's very true. Toby Jean Almy gave me $5. Can we buy ad space from you? Well, some businesses in here might benefit from a live ad slot. I suppose. I mean, you could always super chat me an ad, and I'll read it as ad-like as I can do. So, sure. Why not? Need denim shorts with a hat? I don't know about that, man. I think we get his humor more in the UK. It could be. Yeah, I do have a bit more British style of humor in some ways. Because the British do like the drier sense of humor, so that's fair. I've been watching a lot. I've been watching all the episodes of Taskmaster recently in the UK. I don't know why it flops. I don't know why it went so bad in the US, but I've been watching the UK series Taskmaster. I think I'm on series 6 right now. And it's really, really good. But yeah, Greg Davies and Alex Horn. I've been enjoying that. And of course, when Jeremy Clarkson was on it, I watched Top Gear. I watched all the Top Gear that Clarkson was on. And I watch some QI occasionally. And I watch the one with the wife of... what's his name? Really kind of sarcastic, shouty, kind of small guy. His wife is on game show. What's the name of the game show? Anyways, but I've been watching that too. So yeah, I do watch a fair amount of UK TV. Doctor Who is not for me. No, I don't like Doctor Who. I'm sorry. It's not for me. I don't get it. Would I Lie to You? Watch Would I Lie to You? That's a good one too. Yeah, David, what's his name, is on Would I Lie to You? And his wife is the host of a different show. David Mitchell, yeah, his wife. She's hot. David Mitchell's wife is hot. Yeah. Only Connect. Yeah, that's the one. Only Connect. That's right. Yeah, so I watched Top Gear, Only Connect, Would I Lie to You, Taskmaster. So yeah, I watch a fair amount of British TV, I guess. Yeah. Victoria Cohen Michael. Yeah, she's hot. She's hottie. Yeah, Doctor Hughes not for me. Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Ashley says I'm hot for Uncivil. Can these riot organizers be sued like the KKK's was in the 80s if they're actually an organized organization? Yeah, but we don't need to. They'll all go to jail forever, man. So, yes, but it doesn't matter. Grand Tour is very good, yes. YouTube can tell the channel owner exactly how many people from a specific city and specific state need to view the video, and then divide up viewers by gender and age as well. That's true. Maybe a date for the highest super chat. Yeah, maybe. If you give me enough for a plane flight, to come out and visit you, and you're willing to host me, maybe. We saw this. Welcome to the block list. Thank you, and your research is impressive. Here's your sign. Victoria Cohen is also a professional poker player. That's true. Yeah, she is. That's right. She's a smart cookie. Yeah, she's a smart cookie. I'm not sure how Dave and Michael conned her into that, but yeah. This is the real Katie. She's been deleting comments on her videos. I proved she deleted one of mine. For so many deletions, I'm 62-year-olds and never seen such constant vile behavior. If you have evidence of defendants deleting relevant comments, tweets, especially those identify potential witnesses, please email me with your information, any evidence you have. Yeah. Natasha, give me $10 to refill your bottle of Sandy Support Bourbon. Thank you. Charmaine Haskett gave me £5. Taskmaster is amazing here in the UK. I just did a toned down version with my guides on Zoom. It was absolutely hilarious. That's cool, man. Yeah, guides is like Girl Scouts or something like that, right? I think I know what guides are. It's like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, something like that. Yeah. So that's cool. $20 from Radioactive Redhead. In that case, we want an ad. We're in the business of showing folks how to make cosmetics from home and how to make some awesome cookies that everyone can enjoy. And yes, even your gluten, soy, top 8, free vegan cousin. Not too bad. Kurt, how much do you think this ridiculous filing costs? Lots. And come on, Kurt, you have to be willing to fly to the lady. Tampa, Florida is awesome. I'm worth flying to. I'm worth flying to. I'm worth flying to. Cindy Lou Who, member? Thanks for becoming a new member. UBU, Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you. If anyone has more recordings of KJ on our Instagram accounts like this, especially with the chat comments on, please get them to us identifying their date, name of video if any, and a timestamp of any topics or statements you believe are in a field of interest. Happy New Year. Thought she wasn't deleting messages. Here's one for Michael Saltz. Yeah. Guides is the UK version of Girl Scouts. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was on the money. The Brownies loved it too. We're going to be doing a unit on law. Don't think I'll use this case as an example. Fair enough. Yeah. Isn't KJ's main name stated her law in the motion to dismiss? Yeah, it is about nap time. No joke, man. I have close to 4,000 people provide me information publicly. I have hundreds of messages from people supplying data and statements. I can talk to anyone not represented by an attorney. That's how we collect evidence. That's right. When I date a squirrel, I prefer my own species. Human species, man. Human women, to be more specific. Which tweet was deleted? What was that tonight? Thank you. And the whole thing. How many of the more pages of this do we have? We're on 77. Is this just tweets forever? Is there anything other than tweets that we need to be reading? Secret Squirrel is great. Love speaking to her. Awesome. Yeah. Christina Ray, that's awesome. Can I please break down Donald versus United Clans of America? Sure. I'll take a look at it. We'll add it to my list of paid stories. Thank you. It's just tweets. Yeah. It's just like Twitter history. I mean, why? Some emails. Are any of the emails relevant? We forwarded a number of witnesses that may have come look like for you, Miss Paulson. We do not believe these emails are from you. We believe these are being made to look from you. We're sending them our expert in possible tracing. Okay, fair enough. See below about the email. See below. Mr. Brown, we have no evidence of any screenshots having been doctored. From salts, to the extent you have any evidence that shows any screenshots have been fabricated, please provide the same for review, determine the merits of the claim. We also do not claim Ms. Paulson personally wrote any of the messages. We specifically state that someone wrote the messages, or someone is using account to make it look like you're sending messages. That said, we're informed that Ms. Kennett and Ms. Paulson would frequently communicate through Instagram. The messages that we have been provided all appear to be genuine. Well, yeah, they would be if they're going to be any good. The way they were sent to someone and received by a witness, we're uncertain who wrote them. Your client very well have been hacked or imitated. That's why we're trying to determine the source of the messages with our forensic expert. As such, the declaration was written carefully to identify the message came from a purported account rather than from the people. The only authorship attributed to your client was the tweet and the statements made in our video the same day. Everything else is represented and received from unknown origins. Nevertheless, our computer experts are investigating. Can you please let us know the expected schedule for the court on Tuesday? Yeah, it's at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And how long will it be? I don't know. We'll find out. It could be 10 minutes. It could be longer than that. I don't know. We'll find out. Depends what the judge wants to discuss. Anime Girl says using Twitter to get info is stupid. I disagree with that. I mean, it's a perfectly valid way to get information. So I disagree that using Twitter to get information is bad. Why not use the tools that are available, you know? The opportunity to use is what did I miss? Yeah. I'm not going to go back in time and try to figure out who said what in what declaration right now. If you guys have better memories than me, then so be it. But I've read so many documents. My playlist at this, I think, is 12 series long. And talking multiple hours, I probably got like 16 hours worth of content on this. I can't keep it all straight in my head. So maybe you guys remember something. I can't keep it straight. I'm doing the best I can over here. You have to deal with it. Am I keeping this live stream up? Of course I am. I always do. When it's on topic. Otherwise, I make it members only sometimes. Some tweets. Yeah, so there's nothing here. Okay. So we're basically done. So it didn't turn out too bad. Yeah, we're basically done, which is a whole bunch of tweets. So it's just, let's dump the entire Twitter account on the record for some reason, which I don't even know. So yeah, this status hearing on Tuesday could be a whole bunch of things. It could just be because what it is purported to be is a motion to decide whether or not there should be a status conference. So what it could be is a motion to decide whether or not there should be a status conference. If so, that could take 10 minutes. It could take 10 minutes to be like, get some argument and be like, yeah, we're going to have a status conference and we'll reschedule it for some later time. Now, that doesn't seem like particularly needful because like the attorneys are already well prepared enough. There's nothing like they need to prepare for specifically, or they shouldn't have to. And the judge can always like order more than one. So like if the judge needs to order more than one, they can do that too, right? So it's fine. So it seems much more likely to me the judge will say, yeah, we're going to have a status conference, and by the way, it's happening right now, so let's do that now. And they're going to have a discussion about whatever they're going to discuss, which may or may not be on the telephone call. The judge may say, well, that's the end of public proceedings, and we're going to go into in chambers now and have status conferences. Because status conferences are typically on the record, but not transcribed and not in the public. They obviously can be, but they're not usually. There's just a meeting between the lawyers and the judge. It's usually held in chambers, and usually it's not even transcribed. They are on the record, so usually the judge will make a minute order, basically saying very briefly, or like a one-page document, basically saying here's what happened, and here's what any orders I'm coming out with it. But it's usually like a minute order. So the judge might, after 10 minutes, say, okay, we're going to do the status conference, we're going to do it right now, and that's the end of the proceedings, and we're off the record. And terminate that proceeding and then go back on the record in chambers without the transcript. So that might happen. That's a possible scenario. Hopefully for us, that won't happen. Hopefully there will be hearing that we can hear. And so we can hear them argue about whatever's going to be the status conference, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And then that could mature in any number of directions, depending what the judge does or does not want to talk about. And if the judge wants to rule on the jurisdiction issue, that could happen too. So the judge could say, I'm ruling on the jurisdiction issue. I'm ruling that there is not jurisdiction. And I will write a formal order on this, in the next 2 weeks. And that, and then you would just wait for the formal order to come down and go from there. So that can happen. So there's a whole number of possibilities for this hearing. So we'll see what happens. It's possible the judge could rule on jurisdiction. It's not particularly likely, but it's possible. Because everything I need to know to decide the jurisdiction issue, I knew long ago. So depending on how much work the judge has already done on the jurisdiction issue, all this is so much irrelevancy that the judge can ignore it all and just be like, yeah, I'm just ruling on the jurisdiction issue. There is or is not jurisdiction, and go from there. Brown filed more docs and the judge granted the seal. Yeah, well, they didn't actually grant the seal. They're filed under seal. Yeah, so Mia Shell points out that Brown filed more docs and then said the judge grants the seal. That's not correct. They're filed under seal. The judge doesn't grant the seal. They're filed under seal. The judge can reverse that, but the judge doesn't grant it. They're filed under seal. And the judge can withdraw them from the seal if they're not needed and so forth. But yeah, we covered that. And then Quirky Beauty said, question, could Brown be trying to get Saltz's pro hoc vice removed? There's nothing here to remove his pro hoc vice in my estimation, but I don't think so. Yeah, we covered the documents that are available. We covered the more documents. We covered that all. Yeah. Kraft, happy, Tammy keeps getting deleted. I don't know. What would you conclude regarding jurisdiction? I don't know enough about the law to know for sure. I don't know enough about this specific issue in the Ninth Circuit, right? So to actually answer this for real, I'd have to go read the case law a lot more carefully than I have to date to be able to answer the question. Now, that being said, I'd want to rule for Katie because I think that Toddy's winning here creates long-term problems for creators. So I think it's probably better that Katie wins. But I don't know if the law supports that or not. So I don't know what I would do. Because if I were really a judge, I have to go really read the cases and see what they say. And go from there. I have to follow the law. So I don't know. But I've predicted 65-35 that Toddy's going to win the motion. So I predicted a 65% likelihood that Toddy will win and the judge will keep jurisdiction. I think that the judge should deny jurisdiction. I think there's very good prudential reasons to do so. But we'll see. We'll see if I'm too pessimistic or something. Emma says, you mean you tell me you didn't figure out jurisdiction from reading 370 pages of emails and tweets? No, the The emails and tweets had very, very little to do with jurisdiction. In fact, basically 0 things to do with jurisdiction. It had to do with the attorneys behaving badly, which is like, oh, I don't know. We'll take a few questions here while I still have some energy. I need a nap and I need a hug. That's what I need. I need those 2 things. Excuse me. Will I and Emily be collaborating in the future? I have no objection to it. I'll contact Emily and see if she's interested in doing something after the hearing on Tuesday. Emily will be on in less than 2 hours. Cool, I'll check that out. Will it be problematic for creators regarding jurisdiction? Because depending on what the judge writes, there are avenues the judge could go down in writing the opinion that would imply that a creator has personal jurisdiction everywhere. Because if you don't buy the agency theory that Lorianne was an agent, and I don't buy it. I gave a 5% bump though for that. I had a 60-40 position. I went to 65-35 because of the agency thing. So if the court really buys into the agency thing, I mean, they could write an entire opinion. So if they really buy into the agency theory, they could base their opinion on that ground and go from there. So that could be like a dominant ground. I don't personally see it, but a judge could theoretically do it. So I had to give a bump in the estimate for that, right? So, but if you don't buy the agency theory that Lorianne was acting as an agent, then Toddy's theory of the case is Katie receives super chats from Washington. Katie has viewers in Washington. Katie has subscribers in Washington. Katie derives revenue from Washington. But you could substitute like literally any other place name in that sentence and it will be equally true. I don't know about equally, but for the point of receiving some, yeah. So there's nothing special about Washington if you view it that way. So if the jurisdiction is based on Emily received super chats from Washington, Emily received likes from Washington, Emily has subscribers from Washington, Emily receives views from Washington. If that's the theory the judge goes with, it implies that a creator can be sued everywhere. Because a creator, especially one with 150,000 views, like KG, I mean, without even looking, we know that she has subscribers everywhere, viewers everywhere, likes everywhere, right? So the if you buy that theory of the case, it implies universal jurisdiction. So it implies that I, as a creator, even with 25,000 subs, could be sued everywhere. And that seems deeply problematic. So that's my concern. It would abolish the concept of personal jurisdiction for a lot of YouTube creators, and it would potentially open them up. And if you buy the agency theory, then it suggests that every mod that I have on my channel suddenly is now an agent of mine, because I am telling them to do stuff, right? So I am telling them to do things. So are they my agents now doing things in those states? You know, how many places does this mean I can be sued? Can I be sued everywhere? So the problem with Toddy's theory is it kind of proves too much. It goes too far. Now, I thought Brown's response was the right response, and he finally got there. I don't know if he cribbed from me or not, but he got there, which is there's nothing special about Washington. That's the right rebuttal. You concede all those points because you have to, and the response is, yeah, but so what? There's nothing special about Washington. We have subscribers everywhere, viewers everywhere. We don't do anything to particularly target Washington. We just put out our content, and whoever watches it, watches it. We don't even distribute the content, strictly speaking, which is true. They don't. All Katie does is upload it to YouTube. So her distribution is limited to YouTube, the central server. YouTube is the one who distributes it from there. So strictly speaking, Katie doesn't even distribute the stuff. People request it actively. So that's a different thing by clicking on the link or wherever, right? So my problem with Toddy's theory is it proves too much. Oh yeah, okay. Craft Happy Tammy is trying to ask what is the name of the pina colada wine Uncivil mentioned before. Can you help out? It wasn't pina colada, it was margarita. And let me see if I can find out the exact name of it though. Yes, it was Rancho La Gloria, which you can pick up at Total Wine and More, and they might have other flavors beyond that. But yeah, that's the one that I was drinking. Rancho La Gloria Margarita wine. I always add tequila to it. It's 13% alcohol, but I always add a little tequila to it because it helps with the flavor. But there you go. It's only $7 a bottle too, so recommended. Recommend you pick up the cheapest the cheapest Respado tequila you can find, and add a little bit of that to there, and you'll be great. Anyone sue Uncivil law in Scotland? See, this is what I'm talking about, you know? No, but Katie lied in her declaration. Anyway, I don't think Uncivil gets how many people KJ screwed over. I don't. Okay, Angie. All right, all right. Let's try this. This lawsuit is between Toddy and Katie. For the purposes of determining whether there's jurisdiction, it is completely irrelevant how many people Katie has screwed over, how many other places. It doesn't matter. She can be the worst person of all time. She can cast a wrath of a tornado everywhere she moves. It just doesn't matter. We're looking at the dispute between Toddy and Katie. That's all we're doing. That's literally the lawsuit before us. Toddy versus Katie. That's it. So, do I know how Katie has screwed over people? No. Nor does it matter for jurisdiction. It doesn't matter. We're trying to figure out if there's jurisdiction with respect to Toddy, not with respect to 3 billion other people. Maybe there is jurisdiction with respect to maybe there's personal jurisdiction with every person other in the state. I mean, it's at least theoretically possible. I don't know how many people Washington has, but it's at least theoretically possible that every single person other than Toddy would have personal jurisdiction with respect to Katie. Because you have to look at each of them individually. You know? So, do I know how many people Katie screwed over? No. Do I care? No. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at the Toddy versus Katie suit. That's the issue. All those other things, I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Where should Toddy sue? Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't give me, because that's where Without a Crystal Ball lives. Toddy can sue Without a Crystal Ball in Minnesota. No problem. You can always sue the person where they live. So if Toddy wants to file this, she can file it in Minnesota. Is the peanut butter bourbon good? I thought it was pretty good. It's worth a shot. I think you can give it a shot. It was only $30 a bottle, so it wasn't too expensive. I'd recommend giving a shot for the peanut butter bourbon. Yeah, but that's the problem. It doesn't matter where Toddy lives. No, we're not. No, not really. I mean, Saltz was trying to make that a thing, like where Toddy lives, but not really. I mean, because that doesn't matter where Toddy lives. It matters. We're not looking to fairness to Toddy. We're looking for fairness to Katie. So, do you think KJ could be doing this and hope Toddy will withdraw the suit? I don't think that's happening. When am I doing my next FBIT? I don't know when I have time left. $10 from Living Sweetly. Big hug. Thank you. Uncivil law, I don't see well. To type Streamlabs give me a hard time. I asked the brand of the pina colada. Yeah, it was the Rancho La Gloria Margarita was the name of the thing. Anyone wants to use Uncivil law in Top Land? $4.99 from Tina with them. They did Tupperware for 25 years. But when I coached online through Zoom, YouTube and I had to pay different taxes because the acts being different. Yeah, very good. Views in Washington, research in Washington. Yeah, according to Without a Crystal Ball, and there's no reason to necessarily disbelieve her, at least on first glance. Although you wouldn't assume it because, well, the way that they said it, I don't know. They didn't. I don't remember in the pleading if they actually said they did research in Washington proper. But the way that Without a Crystal Ball tells it is that all of the research she got was from third-party sites like Ancestry. So she actually didn't do research in Washington. She pulled records from third-party companies, and it's materially different. So, yeah. Well, don't go defaming. Bedalza, you have no idea what you're saying. The issue isn't only being in fact defamed. It's the fact that someone could bring a slap suit against me, and not every state has slap laws. Strategic lawsuits against public participation. So it's like, yeah, just don't go about defaming people. Yeah, you don't understand the issue there, my friend. With all due respect, KJ used Washington State resources to get birth certificates. Not clear if that's true. Did I not go to the emails where Salty said the emails were doctored? We covered that. If Toddy's in Washington, is that not enough? No, not by itself. Well, you don't do anything wrong, you won't be sued. Well, that's just a lie, Claire. People can file suits for all kinds of reasons. Not all of them are necessarily legitimate. So, like, yeah, if you don't do anything wrong, you won't be sued. It's like, that's a little bit like saying if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't care about privacy. And the Fourth Amendment doesn't matter. It's like, no. You have things to hide even if you don't know them. I guarantee you do. And like, yeah, you don't know about your exposure. Yeah, just don't do anything wrong in 50 different states with how many different local codes. Are you sure you're not violating any of them anywhere? Yeah, that's the problem. Will Salts be able to represent Toddy in Minnesota? I would imagine. If he wants to. Will the judge say anything about wasting court's time? Maybe. Knob Creek is a solid choice. Kimberly, it's a good shot, solid choice. Do you know when you'll be able to break down the Donald case? Probably on Sunday if I have the time for it. You totally told me to like and subscribe, and now you're telling me I'm not your agent? Yeah, there you go. Natasha said, so then why wasn't Katie supposed third-party searches? They didn't issue a subpoena for Katie's research to verify the solidity for a case of jurisdiction. I don't know why things weren't done. I can't speak to that. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes lawyers don't see everything. It's, we don't see everything in real time. We were covering this a little bit with the Amazon Parler thing. Parler made some mistakes, but they weren't necessarily obvious mistakes up front. Like the ones that Brown did in the motion to dismiss were obvious up front. But the ones that Parler made were not obvious mistakes up front. They're obvious in retrospect, but a lot of things are obvious in retrospect. Yeah. Is there a reason the federal circuits have independent case law besides tradition? What's the alternative? I mean, the federal circuits don't have jurisdiction over each other. So there's no way to make them unified otherwise. This federal circuits only have jurisdiction over their own turf. So they can only make decisions for their own territory. So why the different federal circuits have different laws sometimes? Because they're independent courts. Why didn't you file Minnesota? I don't know. Minnesota has tougher laws. It's not clear that Minnesota law would necessarily come into play. It's not clear what law would come into play. You could still sue under Washington law in Minnesota court. You could do that. If you think the torts were committed in Washington, you could sue under that too. So, If Toddy loses jurisdiction, does she have to pay KG's lawyer fees? No. Every side would pay their own fees. Melissa Boomer of the Night says, you need me as a matchmaker. You don't want a social justice warrior. You want someone intelligent. I've listened to you a lot. Well, Melissa Boomer of the Night, you have my blessing. If you can find me a woman, Let me know. You know where to find me. I'm on Discord. Why does it need to be more fair to KJ than Toddy? It doesn't need to be more fair to Toddy than Katie. It's just that Toddy has already said that she wants to sue this in Washington. The court is trying to determine whether Washington has jurisdiction over the parties. That's the court's determination. Now, for Toddy, it's just really easy. Why does the court have jurisdiction over Toddy? Because Toddy wants there to be jurisdiction. She wants that. She sued there. So it's not more, it doesn't have to be more fair. It's equally fair to both sides. It's just that the analysis for one is a lot easier than the other. It's like, well, how do we know that Toddy has purposely availed herself of Washington? Oh, I don't know. She is purposely filing directly in a Washington court. So it's like analysis done in one. And then we like, okay, well, why do we know that she has jurisdiction over Katie? Okay, well, that's a more complicated question. Does she live in Washington? No. Has she ever done anything in Washington specifically? No. Okay, so, what's the next step of the analysis, and so forth and so on. So a defamed person would have to travel to a place that he or she's being defamed to sue? Yes. You have to sue in the place the tort occurred. Yes. Why is it supposed to be fair to Katie when Toddy is the victim? Because it's about fairness. It's about the fairness. It's about the court. It's about the court's power to hear this case. It's about the fairness to both sides. And it's fair to one side because they want to be sued there. And the question is, can we bring the other side? I mean, if I did something bad to you, it shouldn't mean that you'd be allowed to file necessarily everywhere. I mean, you have your choice of places to file, infinite choices. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Like, if I did something wrong to you, you shouldn't necessarily be able to file in any court that pleases you. There's got to be some limitations there. So that's, kind of the analysis on that, I guess. Anya said, so she could still file in different places, keep losing jurisdiction, but squeeze KJ and lawyer fees. There is jurisdiction in Minnesota. There's a whole bunch of other issues, but jurisdiction is definitely not one of them. So if they lose in Washington, they will certainly file in Minnesota. And no jurisdiction problems there. We're back to other issues, right? I seem a little sad. I'm a little tired. But in a video, she said she searched for records in 6 different states. Yeah, but what does that mean exactly, that she searched for records in 6 different states? Does that mean that she logged into internal court systems or internal governmental systems of those states, or that she searched for records in third-party websites? So what exactly does she mean by that? Does she mean that she used like Ancestry and whatever other websites to search for records in 6 different states? Then the analysis knows no different. Also, it really doesn't matter about 6 different states. All we matter about at the moment is Washington, remember? So whether she did records in 5, whether she did searches for records in 49 other states is super interesting and all, but completely irrelevant. The issue that we're concerned about is the searches she did with respect to Washington. Literally every person other than Toddy could theoretically have jurisdiction over Katie. Literally every state other than Washington could have jurisdiction over Katie. Right? So like literally every single person in every single state could have jurisdiction everywhere except for Toddy. It's at least hypothetically possible. We're concerned about the issues concerning Toddy and Katie. We're not concerned about any other states or any other people or anything else she's done anywhere ever. We're concerned about Washington and Toddy and Katie. Keep your eyes focused on the ball, guys. And keep your eyes focused on the issue at hand, So if Toddy wins, every creator of YouTube can be sued? Maybe. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the implications of a decision for Toddy. I don't think it would do that directly in and of itself, but it's heading in that direction, and that concerns me. So I don't want to lay down a brick in that direction and maybe get a wall I don't like. KJ said she did research in Washington by saying she did not doing her filing. Yeah, what does it mean to do research in Washington, though? What does that mean? Again, if she used like a third-party site, then it's different. Uncivil, thank you for being unbiased. I try to be. Just try to look at the legal questions. It's like okay, Toddy. Okay, Katie has screwed over 3,000 other people. I'm like, okay, that's interesting and all. Maybe we could do an analysis of those 3,000 people's lawsuits and their respective claims. Right? Katie has screwed over 3,000 other people. Okay. Katie's a horrible person. All right. Katie has done research in 49 other states. Okay. None of that matters. What did she do in Washington? What did she do with respect to Toddy? Don't care about other people. Don't care about other states. Keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye focused where it needs to be. You know? KJ says she used Washington resources and video, not third-party sites. Maybe, but it depends what was true in reality. And according to her declarations, at least, it seems that she used third-party sites, if I read them correctly. And also, when she said she used Washington resources, what does it mean to use Washington resources? What does that mean exactly? What did she mean when she said that she used Washington resources? If that's what she said. I used Washington resources. What does that mean exactly? If I say I used Washington resources, but what I really did was I went on to Ancestry and I pulled records relating to Washington. Did I misspeak or did I lie? Well, technically speaking, I guess I did use Washington resources in some sense. They're resources of Washington. I just didn't get them from Washington. So, you got to really analyze these statements for what they are or are not saying. What does it mean to use Washington resources? What exactly does that mean? Because these things matter. By using Washington resources, did she mean I signed on to Ancestry and I was looking for records that were relevant to Washington? That matters. Any chance the judge will say I'm not reading anything after the motion dismissing ignore all the mess? Probably, yeah, I would. Washington still has to supply the third party. She also has criminal traffic records. Those are not Ancestry. Yeah, Ancestry is just being used as an example in this situation. So maybe she didn't use Ancestry. Maybe she used website X. She didn't get them from Washington. She got them from website X, who has those records. I don't know. What if this was filed in KJ's city in the first place? Then we wouldn't be arguing over personal jurisdiction. We'd have personal jurisdiction. We'd be arguing over lots of other things, but not personal jurisdiction. We'd have one issue down and 300 other issues to go. So we'd have one less issue to solve if this was filed when Katie's placed in the first place. Yeah. So then why wasn't Katie's supposed third-party searches? Didn't they issue a subpoena for case research? Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to what the litigation strategy was or was not. Kim says, I finally understand what you're saying. Took me forever to get there. Well, then I'm glad my explanations are helping. I'm glad I'm helping to clarify these things. That's why I don't mind questions and try to clarify things. Let's just keep our eye on the ball. What is the issue we're trying to solve? Let's just keep our eye with blinders on. What is the issue we're trying to solve right this second? The issue we're trying to solve right this second is personal jurisdiction with respect to Katie in the Toddy matter in Washington. So anything that does not involve those sets of words is an irrelevant issue. So if you start talking to me about all the other people she screwed over, I'm like, I don't care. If you start talking to me about all the other research she did in other states, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about any of those things. You know what I care about? I care about personal jurisdiction with respect to Katie in the Toddy matter in Washington. That would be the thing I care about. Please stop talking to me about other things, I always like this saying that rain falls on the just and unjust alike. Rain falls on the just and unjust alike. And so does sunshine, for that matter. Sunshine falls on the just and unjust alike. So maybe Katie is a horrible person, but she gets the same benefit of the sunshine everyone does. She gets the same benefit of the rain everyone does. And it must be that way. Equal justice under the law. The fact that she's a horrible, terrible person does not mean that she gets less justice than a good person. She gets exactly the same justice, or at least that's the goal. right? She's supposed to get the same justice as anyone else. So we blind ourselves. We blind ourselves to a whole. This is incidentally like part of the jury selection process, right? And why they take time on jury selection, and they want a jury who doesn't know shit about the case. That's the whole point. It's like the whole point is like you're not supposed to know anything about the case, ideally. Now, sometimes that's not always possible because sometimes it's really public. This you could find a jury who's never heard of this. I mean, we know about it, but no one in the grand world knows about this. You know, so you can find a jury who's never heard of these people, no problem. So finding a jury in this case won't be hard. So you get a jury who ideally has never heard anything about this case, who is fair, and then you stage your drama, right? And you say, okay, we're going to tell you all the things that matter. Nothing else matters. We're going to tell you all the things that matter. These are the only things that matter. And based on that, make a decision. Right? That's the point. And so you guys are like, well, I know other things. I'm like, well, try to pretend you don't know other things. You know? YouTube streamers interact with their audience more. There was a question there, and it just scrolled to the bottom, and I lost it. I really don't want KJ to win, but the more you talk, the more I think should be dismissed. Yeah, she might win on the personal jurisdiction issue, and then we have to get to other issues. You know, then we'll have to really get into the defamation issue, which I think she has pretty good defenses too, as well. But that's another issue for another day, right? 1.1 thumbs up. Thank you very much for all the thumbs up. That's very kind of all of you. Will Halo Beauty help with what you care? Halo Beauty helps me care about the Halo Beauty, man. That's what's important in my life, to me. Okay, let's see. What else is going on? Katie said she isn't a journalist. It does not matter. Please explain what happens if this moves to Minnesota. The case just starts over. If this moves to Minnesota, we start over from square one. Now, that's not so bad because a lot of this has already been done. So whoever starts this over in Minnesota already has the original complaint. So they just have to make a few changes, not very many actually, and just refile the same thing. So that's not very hard. I could do it in my sleep. It'd take a half hour, you know. And then Brown hopefully will file a much better motion to dismiss the second time around. And we just go on like a whole new case. We start over from square one. So that's what's happening, hopefully. Does all these filings push back the date of judgment and jurisdiction? Not really. Not unless the judge wants it to. How many filings will get thrown out due to irrelevance? I don't know if they'll get formally thrown out. I don't know if they'll get formally thrown out, but the judge will probably ignore a whole bunch of them. I would. Can either party appeal a jurisdiction? Yes, they can. Either judge loses, if either side loses the jurisdiction issue, they can appeal to the Ninth Circuit. I really don't think it's worth their time in either case, but they both can. So if Toddy loses or if KJ loses, yeah, they can both appeal. I don't know why you would. Well, if you're Katie, I guess you might, because it buys you time while the Ninth Circuit is dicking around. But I mean, it's expensive, and I don't know. So I don't know about that. Can these files be used later to establish a pattern of behavior? Probably not. We're just trying to, maybe, but probably not. We're trying to focus on the issues at hand. If in response to some affirmative defense, maybe. What the hell happened in the Clark Swanson case? Clark Swanson case is proceeding on. It's just that the parties are remaining quiet, so not much is happening. Does court consider the precedent the decision will set before ruling? Depends on the court. Depends on the court and how they think about the issue, about whether they should be forward-looking or not. I kind of hope they do, but yeah. Yeah, see, watching Daily says I never heard of KJ until you did videos. I live in Washington. Yeah, it won't be fine. It won't be hard to find an unbiased jury. There's plenty of people who have never heard about any of these things. If it goes to Minnesota, there'll be more praecipe. Hopefully, this is the end of the praecipes, man. What the hell is happening? I don't know. Do I really think Brown would be asked to be admitted in Minnesota? Don't know. Don't know what the nature of Brown's engagement is. He might very well not. He could. Probably. I mean, it depends on his engagement letter, but is Toddy attending the court virtually? Everyone is attending the court virtually. They're going to do it on Zoom, but I don't have a Zoom link. All I have is a phone number. So. From a public policy standpoint, do you feel a typical person or business should have to go to another state to litigate against a repetitive targeted online harassment? Yeah. I mean, because that is a universal rule that seems to make sense across the board. So, yeah. Will Brown's arguments be for motion dismissed in Minnesota? Basically everything other than the jurisdiction issue. So 12b6 will come back. Failure to state a claim. Defamation is not viable. All the other things are not viable. So he perfects his 12b6 motions. And there was some sort of other issue too there that I forget. I think subject matter, but that's a loser. But yeah, basically 12b6 motion dismissed for failure to state a claim. So it says, I think Uncivil is no sound bias. Thank you. I try very hard. Yeah. Does Toddy have to prove damages in Minnesota if it moves there? Depends. If it's defamation per se, then no. You don't. Well, yeah, you do ultimately have to prove damages. You just don't have to allege damages. So yeah, she'll have to prove damages in the end, which is what juries are for. $10 of living sweetly, dating support coming my way. Thank you very much. And $4.99 from allegedly. Keep it up. Thank you very much. That's very kind. And Susanna Phillips. Would hardship argument work in regards to jurisdiction? KJ cannot be away from her sons and doctors? Almost certainly not. Almost certainly not. Hardship, no. And also because she doesn't have to be there in person, especially these days. Living Sweetly gave me 50 Canadian dollars. Read out loud. I wear socks that match. I'm an honest man with a decent career and strong values. I'll defend your honor in public. Won't take shit from waiters. I even like romantic dinners. So if we're on the same wavelength, I'm your guy. I think that works out pretty well. Yeah, especially these days because everyone is attending virtually. So I'm not sure what it matters these days, to be quite honest. All right, I think I'm going to sign off, guys. I'm a little bit beat. I'm a little bit tired. I need a nap. If you have not done so already, would you be so kind as to please give this stream a like? I do this, guys, for you, and I try to give you the best, honest, fairest analysis I can. Streamlabs is currently reminding you that you can join the channel. If you're on iOS, you can click that link to join. That's why the link is there. For 99 cents, you can become a member of the channel and help support financially. And all your financial support is, of course, appreciated. And did you know you can find us on Discord? The link for the description for Discord is below. That's the best place to find me by far. I don't use Twitter. I don't use Facebook. I have accounts there just to publish the fact that I exist, to keep people alerted, but I don't really use them. So the best place to find me by far is Discord. Description's in the channel below. Don't forget to check out Emily D. Baker. She's going to be on later today with some stuff, and that's always fun. And so till later, my friends. Cheers and good night.